Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of my prediction on season 2 of Total Drama Island: The Reboot. If you haven't checked out part 1, then you should, because there I talk about the pre-merge. Just so you know, I will mention spoilers from last season and the first leaked episode from the second season. And if you need a quick reminder, the ones I predicted to go in the early stages were Scary Girl, Millie, Wayne, and Damien, followed by Z, Bowie, Raj, and Emma. Now that we are at the merge stage of the game, I will make a more strategic prediction. Which I shouldn't, because this is a cartoon, and we know how the writers do not care about the strategic aspect and just make some bullshit eliminations happen that don't make sense. So this was very hard to predict, but the ones who are left in my prediction are Axel, Caleb, Chase, Julia, MK, Nichelle, Priya, and Ripper. I know a lot of surprises there, since Ripper is still there, and, I don't like him. So before we start, once again, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you have yet to see the first season or the leaked episode, then you should totally avoid this video. Or you can stay if you want, just don't scream at me in the comments for spoiling. Yes, I see you. That goes to a video with spoilers, and then gets mad that you get spoiled and tries to cancel me. I see you. Okay, so let's talk about early merge and my prediction going there. There are the ones I predict to get out in the early stages of the merge. I still don't know how many will make it to merge. Maybe it will be 8 like I predict, or they make it 10 like last season. A reminder that the 4 contestants I'm about to go through are not in any particular order. I just think they will be eliminated around here. So first up we have here is Axel. At first I thought she would be an early boot again, based on her being a very independent individual, but seeing her now wanting to make more friends and allies, I can see her going a little bit later. It's a very interesting storyline. A person who is hard to connect with tries to connect with other people. I predict she will make it into the merge looking for new allies, which will be Ripper and Chase. I know, surprising, right? I think she will force herself to work with Ripper just so she can prove that she can have friends. I have 2 ways this can work out. One is that she tries to become friends with Ripper, and she is so bad at it that it creeps him and everyone else out, or she can try to align with him just to backstab him, but Ripper gets caught on the idea and backstabs her back. All I'm saying is that she will probably be eliminated by Ripper. I think they want Ripper to have a very decent resume going further into the game. Just from seeing her in season 1, I didn't really like her. I thought she was a flop. But hopefully, with this new storyline, they are going after I can see her being less lonely and more of a team player. I can see a situation during the team phase where she is about to go home but becomes the biggest cheerleader, and the team sees her as a team player and votes someone else out, like Emma. The next one is quite interesting, which is my favorite, Priya. So I think there are 2 possibilities for Priya. She can either go home early because she cares too much about Millie, or she is smart enough to realize that Millie is just not the ally this season, especially with Priya being a very big target this season. So I can see her making an alliance with Caleb and even Nichelle, and they work together throughout the season, and they would all do very well at the challenges. I can see her going into the merge, Lena. With Axel gone, her team does not have the majority, and I can see the other team voting Priya out since she won last season. I do think it will be Caleb who is suspicious of the other side, but he doesn't want to investigate for himself because it might backfire on him. So he uses Priya as a spy to see what's going on, and maybe he can use that to throw her under the bus and get her targeted instead of himself. I know that many people don't want to see her go far again because she was the winner of last season, but I feel like there is much more game in her. We haven't seen, especially now that Millie is not in the frame. Usually, when the winner comes back next season, they do pretty well. Meanwhile, the runner-up kind of flops. So I can see Priya making it far again, but not that far, but probably further than Bowie. Next up, we have the one and only icon of the season. She's got a point. She is an iconic, and she is the moment. Of course, it's Peppa the Pig. Peppa did so well last season. I think she got robbed and got booted unfairly. Like the way Ripper outfarted her in the challenge. Like, how is that possible? She is a pig. She should have won that challenge. No, just kidding, we have Julia. I'm kind of conflicted about Julia. It all depends on how her relationship with MK goes. I can see them making it to the end together, but I can also see them betray each other as soon as the merge comes. I think they will eventually turn on each other. I have always imagined it as Julia betraying MK, but it backfires and MK gets rid of Julia first. Julia might not be the best game player in a social aspect, but she is a fierce competitor and strong in challenges. Last season, she avoided elimination a lot thanks to immunity wins and some plot armor. I don't think she will make it that far again, but reasonably far, because she is also good TV, has a big part in the storyline, and now has a new dynamic with MK, which will be interesting to watch. I know a lot of people want a redemption era for Julia, but I don't think she needs one. She is who she is. She is mean and never really was a good person, and she doesn't really need a redemption era. And that's why we like her. I can see her falling into people's good graces this season and painting MK as a bigger villain than her. The only reason I think MK is going to make it further than Julia is because somehow I think MK will go early and return as an intern maybe, either to sabotage Julia if she got betrayed or help her by being an intern. Now we have Chase, and I don't want him to make it far again, but I have a feeling the people at Fresh TV hate me and want me to suffer. That's why they are going to make Chase and Ripper go far again. I actually don't know what Chase will do this season. It looks like he is still on Emma and his confident self. Maybe he will be more strategic, but I doubt that. I feel like he will just make it far by accident and get carried by Ripper somehow. I also see him go early, and I could just swap his and Emma's positions, but I think to make it more equal for the genders, Chase will make it pretty far. As I said with Emma, we have seen her without Chase, and she was a strong competitor. However, we haven't really seen Chase without Emma other than his relationship with Emma. He was kind of just a frat boy that hung out with the other guys like Z and Ripper. That's why I can see him and Ripper working together and maybe joining forces with Julia and MK. That is, if he is strategic, and I doubt that. It would make an interesting dynamic where the most hated people work together. So now we move on with my final 4 predictions, and the ones we have left are Axel, Caleb, Nichelle, and Ripper. I know Ripper is in my final 4 predictions. Can you guys believe it? Plot armor Ripper for the win, I guess. But no, this final 4 seems very weird after 3 of them kind of flopped the first season, but I do believe that at least one of them will make it this far. So, as usual, in no particular order, I do think that Caleb will go be the one missing the finale or get third. I can't really see them making Caleb win because he was the first one out, then winning seems a little bit weird, iconic for sure, but that stuff barely happens. However, since we didn't get to know about Caleb at all last season, like literally nothing, his social game and challenge performance still remain unseen. But looking at the first episode, he clearly wants to win and play the game for real. He is already trying to make an alliance with Priya, and I can see that happening. Many people expect him to be a villain this season. I don't think he will be the villain in terms of mean and evil, but villain when it comes to gameplay. He is in it to win it, and will do whatever it takes to win. If he has to backstab, betray, blindside, or use his looks, he will do it all. I feel like he will go in an episode where Ripper is supposed to go, but suddenly wins immunity, so the girls decide that Caleb has to go instead. I think we all will be very surprised and impressed at Caleb this season. I can see him make some of the biggest moves this season and will gain a lot of popularity. I trust that the writers actually executes his character well. Now hear me say all of this and then watch him flop. I'm not trying to give him too much credit yet, similar to how we all thought Nichelle would be the iconic queen of season 1 just to end up flopping. So the next one is not Ripper, sadly, but MK. It looks like MK will make it much further this season based on how she was portrayed in the first episode. She was strategic during the challenge as well as noticed the thing with the intern outfit, so she will probably make use of that. Now last season, she was still sneaky and did all these tricks alone, but this time she will join forces with Julia, and I can see them being a very strong duo. It will be interesting to watch both Julia and MK work together because they are both very smart and know their position. Even if they are allies, they are still aware of what the other one is capable of. Last season, it was Julia who got MK out. This time, I can see it being MK being the one taking Julia out. I actually do feel like she will get Julia disqualified. Now that would be interesting to see, and that could be a reasonable elimination for the double. Now will MK win is the question. I sadly can't see her winning because she cheats a lot, and I don't think the writers are going to award her the win. She will eventually be caught. She might even be the one disqualified instead. I do see a possibility where she goes pretty early but becomes an intern herself to either come back to the game or help Julia win. But whatever she does, we know that it will be some type of cheating. Hello, this is MK we are talking about. It's time to reveal to the next person what I think will make it all the way to second place. It does hurt, but I will have to say Ripper. And guys, listen to me. I can actually see Ripper win the whole season. I know I sound crazy, but guys, the scenarios, just think of the scenarios. Ripper got a lot of plot armor last season and made it pretty far. He was mostly hated because he was disgusting, anti-women, and very annoying. But something I noticed in the first episode was he never farted, so I can see the writers trying to go for a Ripper redemption era. As a game player, he is horrible when it comes to the social aspect and pretty decent at challenges. And because it's Ripper, I can see him win some unexpected challenges, probably with the help of plot armor. But for some reason, I do feel like Ripper will be a pretty decent player this season. Moves I can see him making is taking out Axel. I can literally visualize how that would look. So I think this season, Ripper will be a better character, but comparing anyone with Ripper last season is like comparing anyone to Mr. Coconut. Oops, sorry for the coconut slander. Now, with all this said, I can see none of this happening, and all I did was wishful thinking, and Ripper happens to go super early because it's Ripper, of course. Now, there is only one person left, and it is no one other than Nichelle LaDonna, who got canceled. Hashtag stop cancel culture. Now, who was that we saw in the first episode? Are we sure that was Nichelle, or was that Jerry? Nichelle learned her lesson and improved everything she was bad at. She proved herself in the challenge, and her team likes her, so I can see her easily make it through the team phase. We know how much I hyped up Nichelle last season just for her to flop, but I really feel like she has the full package to make it to the end. Even if she is a good competitor, I do feel like she can hide her threat level by not making too much noise. There are bigger personality that needs to go before her, like Bowie, Priya, Julia, MK, Caleb, and Ripper, so I can see her sneak her way into the finale and maybe even win some endgame competition. I just hope she doesn't go too far under the radar and becomes too invisible. It makes sense for her to win from being canceled to being a star. Again, I can see the writers going for that storyline. I'm just afraid that we will have another Priya situation where she is good at everything and it gets kind of boring. We also don't really know Nichelle's social game now that she was canceled, but I feel like she is now in good graces after performing well in the challenge. She has seen being strategic and taking charge in the first season, so that's good. Now, I just don't know who is going to align with her. I do have a feeling she and Axel might align to kind of get revenge for their early boots last season. Yeah, so I think Nichelle will be the one taking the win. Who do you think will win and why? Comment your prediction below, and I will check it out. Maybe we have similar taste or not. Who knows? Thanks for watching, and I'm so excited for the new season. I will try to come back into the TD community, but with everything going on with school, I can't really promise that I will stay here for too long. Yes, haters can celebrate now, but I will try my best. With all that said, thanks for watching, and bye.